Good morning once again. I'm with you to teach Social Studies, chapter number 13, Major Landforms and Earth Movements. Yesterday we had started the chapter, you remember, no? Yes. How did you get the lesson? Easily? Yes. The lesson is very simple. Okay, so shall we move ahead today? Okay. But before that, let us have a revision. What did we learn yesterday? We have learned that there are different relief features found on the earth, and these relief features have been classified into three groups as mountains, plateaus and plains. Then how these features have been formed? These have been formed because of the movements of the earth. And what type of movements are there? External and internal forces cause some movements. Okay, so we are going to learn about that movement and the results. We started it yesterday, that fold and fault, they are the movements, the reaction or the impact or the effect of the movement. What is the result of folding? There are various mountains formed. And what is the result of faulting? There are two landforms formed, rift valleys and host or block mountain. Block mountain is the upper or the raised part of a faulting activity, and a rift valley is the lower or subsided part of due to the faulting activity. So today we will learn two important results of these movements. Number one, volcano. Number two, earthquake. Ready to start with? Okay, so I'm also ready. Let us start now with volcanoes. What is a volcano? Do you know? People generally think of a volcano as a mountain that ejects lava and flames of fire very often. Normally, when I tell you when I take the name of a volcano, what is the picture comes to your mind? A mountain-like structure comes to your mind. Yes or no? Yes. In reality, a volcano is a hole or an opening in the earth's crust through which lava, gases, steam and solid rocks come out. What is the reality? That volcano is not a mountain. It is a hole or an opening in the earth's crust. In the earth, what happens? An opening is formed here. Suppose an opening is formed here on the earth's surface, through which from the inside part of the earth, from the core of the earth, lava, gases, steam, solid rocks, etc. come out. They come out and deposit here. If it happens frequently, what will happen? A mountain will be developed here. Yes or no? Yes. And that will be solidifies, that becomes solid when it cools down. It becomes the lava, the magma which came out of the earth's crust, that solidifies when it cools down. It becomes solid and gradually it takes the form of a mountain. That is why you feel volcano as a mountain. Actually, it is not a mountain. You have understood it now? Okay. Volcano is a typical feature having a crater, a neck and a cone. What is volcano? It is a typical feature. It has a crater, it has a neck and a cone. The crack or deep fissure through which the lava comes out is called the neck. What is neck? The deep fissure through which the lava comes out, that is known as the neck. The cup-shaped mouth of a volcano is a crater. This is what a crater, the cup-shaped mouth of a volcano is called a crater. The conical shaped heap of the lava which solidifies as a hill is called the cone. This one, this is what the lava which has cooled down and solidified. This is known as cone. The whole process of ejection and solidification of lava is called the volcanicity. What is that process known as? Lava comes out and it cools down, it becomes solid, or the entire process is known as volcanicity. Got it now? Okay. The hot material, the hot liquid material of the volcano remains within the surface of the earth and it is called magma. Inside the crust of the earth, it is not lava. That time what is it known as? Magma. Till the time it is there inside the earth's crust, that is called as magma. But when this magma rises to the surface of the earth, it is called lava. When it comes out, then that is known as lava. See, you can see hot gases are coming out. Along with that, liquids, solids, all these things come out. That is known as lava. When it comes out, the lava flows depends on its viscosity or thickness. The amount of silica and water in magma affects the viscosity of lava. High viscosity of lava is associated with greater amount of silica and less of water, while low viscosity of lava is due to more of water and less of silica. This is what the features of lava. It may have more different amounts of lava or silica or water. Okay, that is what high viscosity or low viscosity of lava. Clear now? And that flow, lava flows, that depends upon its thickness or viscosity. That thickness depends upon the amount of silica or water, silica and water it has. Okay, now let us see why this volcanicity happens, why volcanic eruptions occur. Volcanoes erupt due to several causes. Okay, we know that due to increasing temperature below the earth's surface, the rocks are found in a molten state called lava. What is there inside the earth? It is very high temperature inside the earth, below the earth, and because of very high temperature, the rocks are in a molten state. They have been melted. They have been melted and liquid has been formed there. That liquid is called as lava. When the rainwater or seawater seeps through pores and reaches the interior parts of the earth, the heat converts it into steam and gas. You know that when the rainwater occurs, what happens? That rainwater is absorbed to the ground and that water reaches to the core. And what happens to that water? That water changes into steam and gas. Why? Because that much temperature, high temperature is there inside. Whenever the lava and hot gases find their way through some weak zone, a crack or fissure, they force their way through it and come out with a bang on the earth's surface. This lava, this molten material, the rocks, the minerals, different materials are there, all of them are in a molten state and they are moving continuously. And when water reaches, that water changes into steam, okay, into gaseous form. Then whenever this lava gets an opportunity, what is the opportunity? A crack may be there on the earth because of earthquake. There may be a small opening where the earth is weak, the land is weak. That time this lava and the hot gases come out with a bang. That is what a volcanic eruption. Clear now? Okay, now we are going to learn about different kinds of volcanoes. We can classify the volcano on the basis of their activity into three types. What are they? Active volcano, dormant volcano and extinct volcanoes. The three kinds of volcanoes are active, dormant and extinct volcanoes. What do you mean by active volcano? The term, the meaning you can get from the term only. What is the term? Active, which means the volcanoes are active. The volcanoes erupt frequently. There can be frequent eruptions. There are more than 500 active volcanoes in the world. And they are found in a circular belt around the Pacific Ocean called the Ring of Fire. There is a particular area in the Pacific Ocean which is known as the Ring of Fire. In that particular area, most of the volcanic eruptions occur frequently. I'll show you this map. Here, this is what Pacific Ocean. At the end, at the corner of this Pacific Ocean, this red color indicates volcanic eruptions. Okay, here since the earth is round, what happens? This area completes by this semicircle now. Yes, thus it becomes a circle. You can see different spots in the Pacific Ocean. See, here semicircle is here. Here also the another half of the circle is here. See, this is what the Ring of Fire. Ring of fire means the belt, the circular belt in the Pacific Ocean where active volcanoes are there. More than 500 active volcanoes are there in the Pacific Ocean in the ring of fire. Mount Etna in Sicily, Mount Fujiyama in Japan, and Barren Island in India, that is in the Bay of Bengal, are some examples of active volcanoes. These volcanoes can erupt at any time. Okay, they erupt frequently. The examples are Mount Etna, Mount Fujiyama, and Barren Island. Okay, next one is dormant volcanoes. What are dormant volcanoes? They have erupted in early period of history. They are now quiet and calm, but they may erupt again at any time. They were active volcanoes in the past, but now they are calm and quiet. No volcanic eruptions occur there, but in the future they may erupt. We cannot predict when it will be. That type of volcanoes are called dormant volcanoes. Okay. Vesuvius in Italy is the best example of the dormant volcano. These volcanoes are very harmful because they are very deceptive. They may erupt at any time and people may be caught unaware. Okay, I told you, no, we cannot predict, we cannot have an idea even that when it will erupt. There is no, for active volcanoes we can have an idea, no, it is active, it can erupt at any time, so the government can take all the precautions. But here dormant volcano, we people will not come to know when it will erupt. This Vesuvius first erupted in 79 AD and remained dormant for the nearly 1700 years. Till the 18th century, no, there was no sign of this volcano, but after this time it erupted again. It means that after a long time, long period of time, these volcanoes, they are very dangerous because people and the government, they don't know when it will erupt. Okay, third one is extinct volcano. The term gives you the meaning, extinct. It is a volcano that erupted in the distant geological past and no longer remains active thereafter. They are inactive these days and we don't feel that they will erupt. In the future also they will not erupt. These types of volcanoes are known as extinct volcanoes. So now we have completed three kinds of volcanoes: active volcano, dormant volcano, and extinct volcano. You have understood about volcanoes? Okay, you have to learn the diagram of volcano. Okay, now next one we are moving to the one more effect of the movements of the earth, that is what? Earthquake. What is earthquake? It is a sudden vibration or oscillation or shaking of the earth caused by rupture and sudden movement of the rocks. What happens? Inside the earth, there may be a sudden movement and rupture of the rocks. As a result, shaking or vibration or oscillation takes place on the surface of the earth. That is called an earthquake. It is a form of energy of wave motion transmitted through the surface layer of the earth. What actually happens that, suppose this is the area, this is the area where the rocks had the rupture or sudden movement. And what happens, the waves of this movement passes like this. Suppose you have thrown a piece of stone into the water, calm and quiet water. What will happen? Ripples will be formed, waves will be formed in that way, and you can see that in the nearby area of that stone to the center, that wave will be smaller, and as it moves away, what happens to the wave? It becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes slower and slower. Yes or no? Yes. In the same way, waves are occurred. It's a form of energy of wave motion that is transmitted through the surface layer of the earth, and it is generated at a point known as focus. That focus lies within the crust or mantle. Getting me? We are living on the surface, but the earthquake actually occurs inside the crust or mantle. That area where it occurs, its origin is called focus. The depth of the focus generally varies from 10 to 700 kilometers below the earth's surface. below the area where we are living, you have to go down deep up to 700 kilometers from within between an area of 10 kilometers to 700 kilometers. That can be the area of focus normally. The point where the shock waves reach the surface first is termed as the epicenter. The place where it happens, it occurs under the surface of the earth. What is that place called? Focus. And the area above the focus, that is on the crest where we live, that area is called as epicenter. Getting me? Okay. That is known as epicenter. Okay. The earthquake waves are recorded by an instrument. Which instrument records these waves? Seismograph. Seismograph is the instrument which measures that wave. I told you that a wave occurs because of the earthquake, and that speed and the strength, the power, the intensity of the wave has been recorded by an instrument called seismograph, and the science of earthquake is known as seismology. The study about the earthquakes, that is known as seismology. Understood? The magnitude of the earthquake is measured on the Richter scale. Seismograph is an instrument which measures the intensity of the seismic waves and how much powerful the earthquake was. That is what the magnitude. That magnitude is measured on the scale. What is that scale? Richter scale. The number in the scale range from 0 to 9. The scale has the numbers 0 to 9. An increase of 1 unit on the scale represents a 10-fold increase in the earthquake strength. A number from 5 to 6 if it reaches, which means that 50 times, minimum 50 times increase have happened in the earth's earthquake strength. Okay, this area, the area of earthquakes on the earth are associated with weaker zones. There are some area on the earth which are considered as very weak. Violent earthquakes are frequent in the area of volcanicity, that is the belt surrounding the Pacific Ocean known as the Ring of Fire. I told you. This is what the Ring of Fire, right? In this Ring of Fire, see this pink color that shows seismicity. Seismicity means, what is seismicity? This is what? The possibility of occurring of earthquakes. These are the zones where, see, a large number of zones are there in the world which are weak, which are considered as weak zones, and in these weak zones they can be erupted at any time. At any time the volcanic eruption the earthquake can occur. Okay, in India the earthquakes frequently occur in the Himalayas and their foothills and the Ganga Brahmaputra valley. India also is an earthquake prone. This western belt, it has an earthquake prone in the state of Gujarat. Then in the Himalayan Ganga Brahmaputra valley also is a region of earthquake in our country, that is also considered as a weak zone. Okay, earthquakes of severe intensity have occurred in Assam, North Bihar, Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Kutch. Where is Kutch? In Gujarat. In these places, severe earthquakes were occurred and loss to life and property occurred many a time in these places. Deccan Plateau was considered relatively free from the earthquakes until a severe earthquake rocked Koyna town in 1967 AD. Till 1967, the Deccan Plateau was considered as free of earthquakes. But in 1967, there was a severe earthquake in Koyna. Okay, another severe earthquake occurred in Bhuj, that was in Gujarat on 26 January 2001, in which more than 30,000 people died in that earthquake in Gujarat, in the state of Gujarat. Okay, it means that India is also a prone of earthquakes. See this area, this is what Himalayan region, Nepal and parts of China. This is a belt of, here there is a belt of volcanic eruption and this is the belt of earthquake, weak zone. Clear? A massive earthquake rocked Pakistan, Afghanistan and India in October 2005 leaving around 40,000 dead, wiping out several towns and villages. After 2001, a massive earthquake occurred in 2005 in these three countries. Pakistan, Afghanistan and India. In the year 2005, a massive earthquake took place and around 40,000 people died and many towns and villages were destroyed in that incident, in that earthquake. Next was in April 2015. You might be remembering. Yes or no? There was an earthquake in Nepal that killed near about 8,000 people in Nepal and more than 100 people in India also. In the year 2016, Imphal earthquake, Imphal in India only, it struck northeast India in the state of Manipur on January 4 with a moment magnitude of 6.7. At least 11 people were killed and 200 others were injured and numerous buildings were damaged. See, these are some of the examples that India is not free of earthquakes. This is what I wanted to tell you. India also lies, some parts of India also lie in the earthquake zone. Okay, now let us see what are the effects of earthquakes. An earthquake usually lasts for a few seconds. It does not last for long. Only for few seconds it lasts. Yet it is one of the most powerful events on the earth, because within that 1 second time or 2 or 3 seconds time, it can cause severe damage to the earth. The whole area can be destroyed by the earthquake. People, thousands of people they may die because of this earthquake. It may release energy 10,000 times as great as that of a first atomic bomb. The first atomic bomb which was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when we compare that energy of that atomic bomb, 10,000 times as of that energy can be released by earthquake, and that energy destruct the entire area. The destructive effects of earthquake, what are they? Several buildings, bridges and other structures are damaged and destroyed. Fire resulting from power lines is a major danger. What happens? Fire breaks out. Next one, spills of hazardous chemicals from the factories, from the industries, from the laboratories. What happens? Chemicals, hazardous, dangerous chemicals flow out. Huge loss of lives, a large number of people die. Rivers often change their courses. Okay, suppose this is what the way of river, the river may change its way and may flow like this. Okay, only because of the earthquake. Then landslides. What do you mean by landslide? A part of the mountain fall down. That is known as landslide. That is very common in the mountain region if an earthquake occurs. The destructive sea waves called tsunamis are caused by undersea earthquake. If an earthquake occurs in the sea, this is an earthquake area, Pacific Ocean. Clear now? If an earthquake occurs here, what happens? Tsunami, huge waves will attack this coastal area. So these are the effects of earthquakes. We learned about the major relief features, then mountains, plains and plateaus, then movements of the earth, fold and fault, rift valley and host. Then we learned about volcanic eruption, the causes of volcanic eruption, the kinds of volcanoes. Then we learned about earthquake, why does an earthquake occur, what are the different earthquakes occurred in the world, then what are the effects of earthquakes. You have understood the chapter, I think? Yes. Shall I wind up? Yes. This is the time to wind up today. We will meet again tomorrow with another topic. Till the time, you have to stay home and stay safe. Okay? Take care. Bye.